sport rotors. And we're going to show you how to track your rotor blades here at the factory.
Okay.
Each one of these kits come with the ability to silver and a red, and each of these tracking tab holders. And the way you want to fold it, like it is here, like that, so it makes a T shape. So what I'm doing is, on the slippery side here, I fold it in half, like so, and then we fold it here, and then we'll fold it again this way. The rotor blade, and then stick the red tab on one side and the silver tab on the other, facing you in the cockpit. Now you want to make sure that you do fold this first, because this allows this material to be able to retain that shape when you pull the backing off. Okay, when you're doing this, the two tracking reflectors, the silver one, we have a little black on the back, so that's so you can define which side is the sticky back to peel off, and of course the back side is. And the red one is obvious. It's red and then silver on one side. And you have to stick your nail right here, or you take a razor blade and separate this and get the sticky back off. This is the tip of the rotor blade. We have the bottom side here and a set of rotor blades. And you want to put the tracking tab in the same place on both blades. So you're going to put it here or here, could be any place, but like say the same place on this line, split line of your rotor blade, so it's in the same position. And you don't want to turn it too much this way or that way. You want it so that it's in line with the relative wind of the rotation of the rotor blade. Okay, then you separate the backing on the piece after you folded it, and you'll touch it together here like this, hold it like that, come down, place it nice and even, fold it over like that, and it's on there. Now you have a place to stick it to. Do not put this in between here, it won't work, it won't be a good reflector. And you have to clean the surface with a little bit of rubbing alcohol first. And now we're going to stick this reflector here on the blade itself. Okay, so you're going to take and peel this backing off. And I like to use the tip of a small knife and put it on here like that. That holds it there for you. Pinch it, and it's on there. And you can go ahead and just push it back and forth. And there it is. Now I got a little bit crooked, but it's going to be okay when the air hits it. I've had these move two different directions, and they'll be just fine. Either way you put them, they'll stay on there really good. And make sure that you do clean this off with rubbing alcohol and get rid of all the wax off there first before this will stick. Now, you want to make sure that, of course, you put anything on the tip of a rotor blade, you don't change this to metal. You want to be sure that you put something on like this, and that's why we did it this way. If this flew off, it's not going to hurt anybody. You never want to put any kind of a stick on any kind of a metal tab to hold this. This is all you need for this to work properly. It doesn't look like it's going to work, but we've been doing this for 12 years this way, and it works just great. Now I'm putting the silver one on, same like the red. This is very sticky. You don't want to have greasy fingers, of course, doing this. You want to make sure that you have everything nice and clean. Temperature is a concern too. A real cold day, this isn't going to want to stick good. You have to take a blow dryer and preheat the rotor blade area so it isn't really cold, so that the tape will stick. Or you can warm it with your hand and then wipe it down with rubbing alcohol and then apply them. And of course we have these facing inboard, both of them, the red and the silver. On a bright sunny day we use a mirror to reflect the light for the reflector, and of course when it's too dark out, or you want to do it in the dark, use a halogen flashlight like this. And we're going to use our pre-rotator and spin up, and so we can see the reflector. But if you can't use a pre-rotator and you have to taxi, you want to lanyard this somewhere up higher on your body, or tape it to your arm would be the safest thing to do. Sometimes lanyards can unhook seat belts and get you in trouble, and you'd be taxiing the aircraft. I don't recommend doing it that way. I only recommend doing it with the pre-rotator only. In this case, we're going to use the pre-rotator and a mirror, and we'll demonstrate this. Okay, now what we're looking to do here is use the mirror, bounce the light, look right over the top of the mirror, and you can see the reflector light up. You have to be at those angles. If you try to move the mirror way over here, you're not going to see anything. You have to be right in line, looking right over the top of the mirror to get the proper angle. We have to spin it up to about 200 RPM. Now for purposes of filming, I'll shut it down and we can look and see the blades are in track. Maybe a hair out. Now while you see 2 streaks of red, 2 streaks of silver, it's the reflection of the blade itself bouncing off the light of the reflector. Now you just position this. Now notice how we have it against the dark panel there of the building and the sun comes over. That's the best way to do it. A different contrast. And I'll try to hold it there a little longer. Also we have a windy day right now, so it makes the blade move around quite a bit. But if you pick a point on the building and it stays right in one position, now without this wind it'd be sitting still right now. Now you can point this mirror out any direction, out the back of the copter, the front of the copter, out in front of you, wherever you'd like, to get the desired amount of reflection that you can see. But the trick is to look right over the top of the mirror. It's the only way you can see it. Okay, if you were to adjust the blades, let's say this reflector on this side is the white one, or the silver one, and it's high. And you want it to come down. Well, you would tighten this side and loosen this side. Imagine this being with the towers, in which it is. This block always stays in line with these towers. The blade rotates underneath it. So if we were to tighten this and loosen this, the back would come up and would de-pitch that blade. We're talking here a flat. A flat means one of these flats on each of the nuts here. So a flat, you turn it a half of a flat, or a flat here and a half a flat here to make the adjustment. Okay, so what we're doing here is rotating on this round piece right here. So if we tighten this side and loosen this side, this front's going to come up, this blade's going to pitch, and this blade's going to de-pitch. So it's a balance between the two. On this particular hub bar, it's a fixed pitch. It comes pre-pitched. The other hub bars that we have are pitchable and changeable in pitch. Now we also have a Cordwise adjustment. There's a barrel in here. We loosen this set screw. It is imperative that this set screw is always kept tight. You have to keep this tight. And we also put blue Loctite on the threads and then tighten it down. So you loosen this and you can turn this barrel one way or the other then to get perfect alignment within these 2 tower plates. This is a must on any rotor head, because every rotor head that you may have out there may be machined a little bit off. This gives you good centrifugal balance side to side in the rotor blade itself. Also on the teeter of the blade, you want to see this spool move with the blades, or both spools move with the blades, because you tighten this up so that it's up against the face of this barrel, adjustment barrel, and this is all tight, but you want it so that this will all move at one time, and the amount of play that's in here is nothing. Well, you actually were to measure about 1.5 to 2 thousandths of play back and forth is all you can have in here. I prefer around 1.5. So if we were to actually put some shim stock in here, 1.5 thousandths, that's what you'd want. It may be less than that, and that's fine. You want it so that it moves nice and easy by itself. You let go of it, and it just goes right back all by itself. Now also, you want to make sure that your cotter pins are in here. You don't remove this area of the hub bar ever. You just remove these. If you ever were to remove these to inspect these bolts, you could pull one and then inspect it and maybe put a little bit of Corrosion X or ACF 50 on the bolt, put it back in, and then remove the other, and not to move these 2 plates. It's all dialed in at the factory. You can call for information on how to string these blades and get this back in its true position.